Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm truly grateful you've decided to join me today. I'm excited to explore something that holds the potential to deeply transform your life. The true essence of genuine attraction isn't found in pursuit or attachment, but rather in the powerful state of simply being. When a woman truly embraces the art of detachment, she becomes magnetic. Her presence speaks of value that originates from within. A man is instinctively drawn to what appears rare and beyond replacement. A woman who practices detachment radiates exactly that. An inner richness that cannot be faked or fabricated. She does not seek validation, attention, or approval. Her life is already complete, her sense of purpose firm, and her joy rooted in herself, not anyone else. Detachment isn't about being cold or indifferent. It's a quiet, grounded assurance that says, I am whole. When a woman truly grasps this concept, she steps into a kind of power that is impossible to ignore. Men are naturally wired to pursue what intrigues and challenges them, what captivates both their mind and soul. A detached woman doesn't chase after affection or beg for recognition. Instead, she naturally attracts it because her energy resonates deeply. She holds her standards with grace, not out of ego, but from a solid understanding of her own worth. She doesn't hesitate to step away from anything or anyone that doesn't align with her core values. This strength of character builds an atmosphere of undeniable respect. A man cannot help but hold in high regard a woman who honors herself enough to walk away from what doesn't nourish her spirit. Emotional detachment in this sense is not about disconnection, it's about equilibrium. She doesn't break under emotional stress, nor does she get swept up in the emotional extremes that relationships can bring. She remains grounded, consistently investing in her dreams, her passions, and her growth, rather than reacting to temporary feelings. This kind of emotional maturity encourages a man to elevate himself. He knows that being close to her isn't something he's entitled to, it's a gift, an earned presence. A woman who embodies detachment creates space, and in that space, desire is born. Men crave freedom. They seek connection, yes, but not confinement. A woman who is detached offers that freedom. She allows a man to choose her freely without pressure or neediness, which makes his commitment far more genuine and lasting. She doesn't need to manipulate outcomes or control anyone. She just exists, anchored, calm, complete, and that is what makes her unforgettable. Her detachment is not a wall, but an invitation, a subtle but powerful call that says, I am whole on my own, but if you wish to join me, you must come to where I am. This unspoken expectation calls out the best in him, forming a bond built on equality and mutual reverence. To the woman learning to detach, understand this. Letting go is not loss. In truth, it's gain. It's a reclaiming of your inner strength and peace. Your true power doesn't come from running after love, but from standing rooted in your own being. Men are naturally captivated by a woman who can love deeply but still remain sovereign. This equilibrium is rare, and that rarity is what makes you remarkable. Detachment, when born from self-respect, is the highest form of confidence. It says, without saying a word, I know who I am and I don't need anyone else to define me. That kind of certainty is magnetic. Certainly, here's your revised script with slight word changes to maintain the original message while keeping the volume intact and exceeding 9,000 characters. without headings or subheadings. When a woman refrains from revealing too much of her thoughts, emotions, or future intentions, she becomes intriguing. Her life unfolds in layers that demand time, patience, and sincere effort to understand. This gradual unfolding keeps a man captivated and deeply interested. He feels compelled to uncover more about her because there's always a new depth to explore, a different outlook, a hidden gift, or an unspoken story waiting to emerge. This sense of enigma is deeply rooted in self-assurance. A woman who holds an air of mystery doesn't crave constant validation or feel the urge to explain her every move. She finds peace in quietness and doesn't feel pressured to fill every silence with chatter or action. This calm confidence speaks volumes. She is grounded in her worth and trusts that those who truly care will invest the time to see and appreciate her for who she is. Maintaining an element of mystery is ultimately a reflection of valuing one's privacy and boundaries. She doesn't divulge every aspect of her world to just anyone, nor does she open her inner sanctuary without discernment. This careful selectivity conveys that her time, energy, and emotional attention are not given lightly. By keeping certain parts of herself preserved, she suddenly communicates that intimacy with her is a meaningful privilege, something that must be earned with care and integrity. The captivating power of mystery also sustains the spark in relationships. When a woman preserves her sense of self and continuously grows and transforms, she remains delightfully unpredictable. She introduces new energies and insights into her relationships, ensuring that they never lapse into dullness. This evolving spirit is deeply attractive because it invites others to stay attentive and engaged, to meet her dynamic essence with equal curiosity and care. At the foundation of mystery lies a strong self-awareness. A woman who carries mystery understands herself with clarity. She isn't easily influenced by outside pressures or shifting opinions because she stands firm in who she is. This inner certainty adds to her allure. She becomes someone truly worth discovering, someone who stirs admiration and deep respect. Her essence invites rather than demands. She doesn't beg for attention, she magnetizes it. Her presence echoes in the mind, making her unforgettable and sparking a desire in others to uncover the layers of beauty, strength, and wisdom beneath her surface. Earning respect is one of the most compelling results of a woman who knows her value and loves with purpose. True respect is never forced. It's cultivated through consistent behavior, principles, and an unwavering sense of self-respect. A woman who nurtures respect in her interactions does so through clear boundaries, quiet strength, and actions that mirror her core values. When a woman honors herself, she teaches others how to treat her. She creates firm boundaries not from a place of fear, but from a deep understanding that all respect begins within. She doesn't allow others to violate her space or diminish her worth. Instead, she communicates her standards with calm confidence. This kind of self-respect encourages others to mirror that behavior. Her words align with her deeds, creating a sense of reliability and truthfulness. She doesn't offer hollow promises or behave in ways that betray her beliefs. This consistency forms a solid foundation of trust and earns her the admiration of others. Her real strength is found in her dedication to remaining authentic even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. She is selective about whom she lets into her life. She doesn't chase approval or seek to win everyone over. Rather, she focuses her energy on building meaningful mutual connections with those who share her values and uplift her spirit. This deliberate openness shows that her time is valuable, and her emotional presence is not to be taken for granted. Respect is also evident in how she carries herself. Her posture, her tone, her composed manner all radiate calm power. She doesn't need to raise her voice to be heard. She doesn't engage in dramatic displays to make a point. Her centered presence does all the talking. And in difficult situations, her ability to stay graceful and grounded only strengthens her dignity. A woman who cultivates respect also extends it to others. Because she respects herself, she recognizes the importance of honoring others as well. She listens deeply, welcomes other perspectives, and stands her ground without resorting to insult or hostility. This combination of quiet strength and genuine kindness earns her deep respect. It demonstrates that her consideration for others stems from true self-regard. Such a woman becomes a symbol of inner power and quiet inspiration. People are drawn to her not because she asks for attention, but because she naturally earns their esteem through the way she lives and loves. The respect she gains is not fleeting, it's lasting and deeply rooted in truth. It lays the groundwork for real connection and genuine interactions. Her presence lingers in the heart, and her influence continues long after she leaves the room. Non-attachment to specific outcomes is another powerful expression of emotional strength and clarity. It reflects a sense of wisdom that allows a woman to chase her dreams, nurture relationships, and act with intention, all while not being trapped by rigid expectations. She doesn't tie her happiness, sense of self, or peace to how things turn out. Instead, she focuses on her efforts, on showing up with authenticity, trusting that whatever unfolds will do so in its own time and way. This doesn't mean she lacks drive or emotion. In fact, she brings deep presence and passion to everything she does. But her strength lies in knowing that she can influence, not control, every circumstance. This understanding gives her freedom. She is focused on what's within her power and gracefully releases what's not. Non-attachment is a reflection of deep-rooted confidence. A woman who lives this way trusts her capacity to navigate life's turns. She knows that success or rejection, approval or dismissal do not define her essence. This internal trust enables her to take bold steps, to face challenges, and to welcome new experiences without being overwhelmed by fear. In relationships, non-attachment allows space for authenticity. She doesn't force affection, manipulate circumstances, or hold on out of fear of solitude. Instead, she allows connections to evolve organically based on truth and mutual respect. This absence of pressure makes space for sincerity, where both individuals feel safe to be themselves, to grow, and to contribute freely. Her non-attachment is not indifference, it is trust. Trust in the natural rhythm of life and in the strength of genuine connection. This mindset also builds resilience. When outcomes don't meet her expectations, she doesn't fall apart. She reflects, learns, and adjusts her path with grace. Each experience becomes a stepping stone rather than a setback. Her ability to detach from rigid expectations equips her to adapt without losing her sense of self. Non-attachment also shows how deeply she knows her own worth. She doesn't seek validation from external results or possessions. Her joy comes from within, from her journey, her personal growth, and her purpose. This kind of inner radiance is magnetic because it shows she's not waiting to be completed. She is already whole. Living this way is not about withdrawing, it's about engaging fully without losing oneself to the outcome. It is a freedom that allows her to act boldly and love deeply without fear of disappointment stealing her peace. It communicates a serenity that draws others in, making her not only attractive, but truly unforgettable. Freedom, when embodied by a woman, sparks genuine pursuit. It ignites an instinctual desire in others to approach, to discover, and to connect, not out of necessity, but out of admiration. Her freedom goes beyond physical independence. It is a deep emotional and mental liberation that signals she is whole on her own. She doesn't chase, cling, or attempt to control outcomes, and this makes her presence all the more magnetic. A woman who embraces this kind of freedom leaves room for others to choose her of their own free will. She does not demand love, nor does she manipulate to keep interest alive. She lives in her truth, confident that those meant for her will be drawn in naturally. This open energy invites genuine connection, built on admiration rather than obligation. Freedom is an unmistakable sign of self-confidence. A woman who is fulfilled in her life, who has her own dreams, passions, and sense of direction, radiates vitality. Her life is rich and alive, full of purpose that isn't dependent on anyone else. This autonomy invites others to rise to her level, to meet her with the same depth and strength she offers. Her freedom quietly speaks, I am complete within myself, but I welcome those who appreciate my essence. This makes her irresistibly compelling, not because she tries to be, but because she naturally is. Her freedom is her power. It is the space she holds for herself and others, and it creates an environment where love and respect can flourish, untouched by control or fear. This freedom, combined with non-attachment, mystery, and self-respect, forms an energy that is both commanding and compassionate. It is not asked to be seen, it simply shines. And in that light, she becomes unforgettable. Not because she forces her way into hearts and minds, but because she leaves an indelible mark through the way she lives, the way she loves, and the unwavering truth of who she is. This sense of freedom also nurtures respect. When a woman honors her own space and allows others theirs, it creates a balance that feels both refreshing and uncommon. She isn't intimidated by distance or individuality. Instead, she flourishes through the understanding that relationships blossom best when both individuals feel free. This mindset naturally draws others to her as they view her as someone who adds richness to life without diminishing anyone's autonomy. Freedom enhances her allure by preserving a sense of mystery. She is not entirely accessible or easily anticipated, and this subtle unpredictability keeps others intrigued. Her life moves with a rhythm and grace that is uniquely hers, encouraging others to invest genuine effort to understand her on a deeper level. The pursuit becomes invigorating because her freedom infuses a sense of mystery, making her presence feel like a privilege, never a guarantee. Moreover, freedom is deeply empowering. A woman who is free from desperation or attachment to specific outcomes offers her presence without burdening others with unspoken expectations. She becomes an inspiration, someone people are naturally drawn to because her freedom reflects an inner strength that is both magnetic and compelling. Ultimately, freedom invites pursuit because it radiates self-worth and abundance. A free woman doesn't chase anyone or anything. She moves with quiet certainty, fully aware of her own value. This calm confidence makes her captivating, not because she demands attention, but because her independence and inner peace make her irresistible. It's this blend of strength, self-sufficiency, and openness that leaves a lasting impression and makes her deeply desired. At its core, the power of detachment lies in the message it sends. I am whole, I am valuable, and I am free. A woman who embraces this truth never needs to beg for love, respect, or attention. They are drawn to her effortlessly. Her emotional independence, unwavering standards, and freedom become a powerful force that magnetizes meaningful connections. The strongest relationships are built not on control or dependency, but on respect and conscious choice. By embodying detachment, a woman reclaims her power and creates space to be cherished for her true self. Let this be a reminder. The moment you stop chasing and start standing confidently in your worth, you no longer have to seek. What is truly meant for you will find its way. Be free, be assured, and the world will respond. A woman who lives this way doesn't demand love or attention. She doesn't chase relationships or obsess over outcomes. Her self-worth isn't based on how others perceive her. She knows her value is intrinsic, unchangeable, and not contingent on anyone's opinions or behavior. With this understanding, she becomes unwavering in her choices. She doesn't fear rejection or abandonment because her worth isn't up for debate. Detachment also brings clarity. A confident woman doesn't allow herself to get lost in emotional chaos or remain stuck in unhealthy dynamics. She evaluates her relationships with a sense of calm objectivity, always ensuring her actions are aligned with her core values and direction in life. Her ability to stay clear and composed becomes a safeguard, a kind of emotional armor that prevents her from settling for less than she deserves. This grounded way of living creates an unmistakable allure. People are instinctively attracted to someone who exudes that kind of steadiness and self-awareness. It's inspiring, and it motivates others to treat her with the same dignity she offers herself. A woman who practices detachment leads not by controlling others, but by the strength of her presence. She sets the tone for every relationship simply by being anchored in her truth. True detachment rooted in confidence is not about turning people away. It's about holding firm in your essence. It silently says, I am enough. And that truth, spoken or not, is one that no one can resist. Emotional independence is the bedrock of inner strength and confidence. It reflects the ability to live fully without leaning too heavily on others for emotional fulfillment, validation, or happiness. A woman who embraces emotional independence has mastered her inner world. She doesn't allow the moods, actions, or approval of others to dictate her own. This does not mean she is closed off or aloof. Quite the opposite. She connects with others deeply, but from a place of wholeness rather than need. She does not form attachments to fill emotional gaps or escape loneliness. Instead, she cultivates her own peace, joy, and purpose, and brings those gifts into her relationships freely, not conditionally. Such a woman takes full ownership of her emotions. She understands that while other people may influence how she feels, she alone holds the power to manage and respond to those feelings. This emotional self-regulation makes her strong in the face of adversity. Heartbreak may touch her, but it doesn't define her. Disappointment may visit, but it doesn't shake her foundation. She knows how to process her feelings in a healthy and empowering way. This resilience is magnetic. Men admire women who are emotionally grounded. It removes the pressure of constant reassurance and unrealistic emotional dependence. Instead of needing someone to complete her, She invites a partner who complements her, someone who adds value to her already fulfilling life. Emotional independence also equips her to establish strong boundaries. She can say no without guilt, walk away from what doesn't align with her peace, and choose environments that honor her well-being. This inner strength makes others naturally respect her. She doesn't demand admiration, it is offered freely because her presence commands it. Ultimately, emotional independence is about freedom, the freedom to live authentically and love deeply without sacrificing your own identity. It declares that happiness and peace are internal responsibilities, and that declaration is what makes her unforgettable. Living with high value and elevated standards is a profound expression of self-respect. It's not rooted in ego, but in the recognition of one's own worth and the refusal to compromise on that awareness. A woman who lives by her standards does so because she knows what she brings to the table. She has a clear sense of what she wants, what she will accept, and where she's going. Her expectations aren't about being inflexible, they're about preserving the integrity of her journey. This kind of woman carries herself with quiet certainty. She doesn't beg to be seen, nor does she shrink to fit anyone's mold. Her confidence doesn't shout, it radiates. And those who appreciate authenticity are drawn to it. She sets the standard for how others treat her by the way she treats herself, thoughtfully, kindly, and with care. She doesn't linger in spaces that dishonor her. Whether it's a job, friendship, or romance, she is prepared to walk away from anything that diminishes her sense of self. This action sends a clear message. Her time, presence, and energy are not to be taken lightly. She honors them, and so should others. Her high standards aren't about elitism, they are about intention. She knows that her life is shaped by her decisions, so she chooses wisely, only allowing people and experiences that elevate, nourish, and align with her purpose. This intentional way of being is deeply attractive. People are drawn to her integrity, her groundedness, her sense of direction. Men especially are inspired to rise to meet her, not because she asks them to, but because she silently demands excellence by living it herself. She doesn't force anyone to value her. She simply embodies her value, and those who recognize it will meet her where she stands. High standards are not walls, they are invitations. Invitations to grow, to evolve, to step into a higher version of self. That's what makes her not just desirable, but unforgettable. Mystery and attraction are intrinsically linked. A woman who understands this allows herself to remain a little unknown. She doesn't reveal every layer at once. She lets her story unfold over time. This sense of mystery doesn't come from deception, it stems from self-possession. She values her uniqueness enough to let others earn the privilege of knowing her more deeply. Mystery is powerful because it leaves room for discovery. It creates space for connection to build gradually, naturally, and with depth. It doesn't rely on theatrics or playing hard to get. It is simply the elegant confidence of holding something back until the moment is right. When a woman chooses to preserve some of her inner world, she becomes a living invitation to curiosity and wonder. She remains unpredictable in the most beautiful way not because she is inconsistent, but because she is multifaceted. Her layers are not a mask, they are her richness. She doesn't dilute herself to fit expectations. Instead, she remains true, whole, and just out of reach enough to keep others wanting more. And that, perhaps above all, is the essence of unforgettable feminine power.